And welcome to another edition of Ducks No Sports. This week, we're talking about week 3 in the NFL. Should be interesting with a lot of interesting matchups and a lot of good matchups. So let's get started with the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, Andy Reid returning to Philadelphia, where he went to 4 NFC championships, a Super Bowl, a lot of success. Really did a good job turning around the Eagles. Of course, last offseason got fired, and of course with the Kansas City Chiefs. And this will be an interesting one. We'll start with Kansas City here. Very, very interesting team in Kansas City. First week didn't look good. Jamal Charles didn't look good. Nobody in that team looked good week 1. Week 2, they again, first half didn't look that good, but second half really found themselves and came back against the Dallas Cowboys. It really showed maybe they are an improving team. Alex Smith on that team now should be seeing Jamal Charles, if he's healthy, is still one of the best running backs in the NFL. And the defense, who, let's face it, their defense, not great, but gets the job done, as we saw last week against the Cowboys. Not great the whole game, but got the job done. And on the other side as well, you got a Philadelphia Eagles team. It's a very interesting week 1. Philadelphia looked amazing. Week 2, not so much, as we saw some flaws in their game. McCoy getting hurt in that game. Should be able to go this game, but getting hurt in that game, it really, their offense just didn't flow very good. Michael Vick was asked to do a lot last week. Really couldn't live up to what week 1 he did. And the Philadelphia Eagles are a pretty good team. Maybe not a great team or a Super Bowl team, but they are a pretty good team. Are they a playoff team? I still think they are. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are a very, very good team. But it'll be interesting this week with Andy Reid coming, the emotion of Andy Reid coming back. The Kansas City Chiefs will want to get one, but I still believe in the Philadelphia Eagles. I think McCoy will have a bounce back here. I think Michael Vick will do enough. And the defense in Philadelphia ain't great. Let's face it. They're definitely not going to be any, fantasy team steal defense, that's for sure. But Philadelphia Eagles defense will do enough plays to get the job done, and the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Kansas City Chiefs by a touchdown this week. Moving over to the Sunday night game, of course, it is the Chicago Bears taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, 2 great franchises and 2 legendary franchises, so it should be a good one. Start with Chicago. Very, very impressed first 2 weeks. Did not have a lot of high hopes for the Chicago Bears coming season. Didn't think they had enough. I thought Trustman would struggle going from the CFL to the NFL, but he's had no problem putting that CFL offense into an NFL team. No problem. Jay Cutler, great start to the year. Of course, his contract's up at the end of the year, so maybe that's why he's having the start of the year. He's going to have probably a good year. Run the ball with Forte, it's been kind of dicey this year, but this defense, losing Urlacher and a few other guys, but not really losing a beat as the Bears look fine. The Chicago Bears might be the best team in the NFC North right now. But of course, this is the Chicago Bears. What's been the story of the Chicago Bears the last couple of years? They get off to a hot start at the beginning of the year, and they look like the team. And then they just fall off the second half. So hold your brakes on the Chicago Bears. They've got to an impressive start, yes. But are they that Super Bowl caliber team? I still have to still wait and see. Chicago Bears, because let's just pump the brakes on Chicago Bears. And on the other side, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers, who week 1 looked awful. Week 2 looked a little better, but still pretty bad. Mike Tomlin, for my money, is the best coach in the NFL. But that can only get you so much. Big Ben's still a great quarterback in the NFL, but again, that can only get you so much. At the end of the day, it comes down to your big boys up front blocking. And they've got none of that this year. Cincinnati on Monday night could do anything they wanted to their offensive line. And it's not looking good right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're not looking like the great franchise that we've come to know and love in Pittsburgh. They're struggling. Let's face facts. They are struggling right now. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are in trouble. Let's face it. The Pittsburgh Steelers not got to a great start. And if they don't win this week, I just don't see how they're going to rebound. Big game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I like the Chicago Bears. That's right, the Chicago Bears to go to 3-0 on the season. Mark Trustman doing wonders this year, and he will continue to roll as they go into Pittsburgh and get the job done. And our next game we're going to talk about, the Monday Nighter, the Denver Broncos over against the Oakland Raiders. I'll start with Denver. Man, oh man, has Peyton Manning got off to a fast start. First couple weeks, man. Week 1 was awesome. Set 7 TDs. Week 2, just as impressive. Beating down Eli Manning. I really like the Giants in that game, but just proving me wrong. Beating down the Denver Broncos. Have a few injuries, but the Denver Broncos clearly are the best team in the AFC right now. Again, it's only week 3, but they clearly are the best team in the AFC right now. Wes Welker hasn't lost a beat going over to Denver. Peyton Manning has so many weapons, and the defense, even without Von Miller, still pretty good. Not great. They still give a lot of points, but because Peyton Manning scores a lot of points. So I want to see a game where Peyton Manning doesn't score a lot of points. Can this defense still hold it together and be a great defense? Oh, and will prove obviously in a couple weeks when Von Miller comes back. But Denver Broncos, for my money right now, are the best team in the AFC. I don't see any team really that can even compete with them in the AFC right now. They're just so hot. Peyton Manning, back to the old Peyton Manning, and just getting the job done. Other side of this game, we got the Oakland Raiders. What's there to say about Oakland, really? It's the same old Oakland. Seems like nothing's really impressed me. Of course, winning last week, but again, they did play the Jags, so obviously that was a given. But the Oakland Raiders, if they can win in this spot, this might be a big turning point in the Oakland Raiders season. As if Peyton Manning comes in to Oakland like he always does and carves them up, they look like a joke. But if Oakland can somehow win, then this will be a big turning point for the Raiders and the Raiders' whole organization. As let's face it, this team has not been good the last 10 years. And they never had that primary win. But if they can somehow beat Denver here, that is a primary win. But that's not going to happen, as Peyton Manning and Denver Broncos will continue to roll, and they're going to continue to roll big, as I love the Denver Broncos to beat down the Oakland Raiders. All right, rest of our games this week. I like Houston to beat Baltimore. I like the New York Giants to finally get the first win of the season as they beat the Carolina Panthers. I like the Cincinnati Bengals to beat the Green Bay Packers. Maybe an upset in some people's mind, but I don't think people get enough credit to how good the Cincinnati Bengals organization has become. They are clearly a very, very good team. I like Dallas to rebound after losing and take down the St. Louis Rams, who actually are pretty impressive, but I still like Dallas in this game. Minnesota needs to get their act together. I picked them to win the North, but clearly that's not going to happen. I think they get the job done this week because they are playing Cleveland, so I think they get the job done. New England will beat Tampa Bay because for some reason New England only seems to play crappy teams. Don't know how that works, but that's just how it goes. New Orleans goes 3-0 in the year as they beat the Arizona Cardinals. Tennessee and San Diego. I like Tennessee. Washington, Detroit, a real toss-up game, can go either way, but I will go with RG3 and the Redskins. Atlanta versus Miami. Atlanta Falcons were my Super Bowl pick to start the year, but they got issues. Steven Jackson going down, Witherspoon going down, not looking great. Matt Ryan does not look great this year. Let's face facts. Matt Ryan does not look great, and they were clearly not a second-half team as they've looked awful in their 2 second halves this year. And I really like the Miami Dolphins. I really think they can surprise some teams this year. And I really believe the Miami Dolphins beat the Atlanta Falcons this week in South Beach. Buffalo, the Jets, toss-up game, but I'll take the Buffalo Bills. Seattle versus Jacksonville, probably one of the best teams in the NFL versus one of the worst teams in the NFL. So I will take the Seattle Seahawks. And our final game, I will take San Fran to beat Andrew Luck and the Colts. Last week, went 11-5, proving my record to 20-12. Not too bad, but till next week, I'm Aaron Ducks for saying I'm Ducks, and I know sports. Kind of.